Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to another edition of Darkness in Dublin, the Mage venue. The scene currently set is about a little bit before the witching hour. Midnight has gone ahead and come and gone. The stars are out. The moon has is relatively light and pale shade, like hanging out in the sky. But when we go ahead and turn our gaze earthward, planet side, as it were, we find ourselves in a very small graveyard. A graveyard off a very small paved street. Looks like an access point for several of the other rural communities and suburbs, whatever have you. The entire structure is composed of stone, cold stone excavated nearly centuries ago. This cemetery, this little place of refuge for the long departed, has no exterior defenses, no secure holdings. The walls are barely even a foot and a half or so high, and the gravestones go ahead and slant and tilt at odd angles and irregular rows, and the one piece of actual architecture has long ago had its roof and its walls completely demolished, the stones lost to time, as much as any one of the epithets and markers would have you go ahead and believe. And the current congregation, the current comings and goings of those who are awakened are following either one or two things. They're following the natural course of, well, decay energy to go ahead and gather in a low point, and what lower point is there than 6 feet under these magi who are, well, death sight bound, or at least have their sight askew towards the otherworldly, the deadly, the deceased, may naturally go ahead and find themselves there, following a lark of intuition. For Isaac's part, at least, he is sitting within this, well, more than long ago half demolished structure. There is only one wall with one archway with one threshold, and he himself not having to, or not needing to go ahead and start a fire quite yet. It is still a balmy summer evening, even as late as it is. It's not until maybe a few months out that he'll go ahead and consider restarting that fire pit at his feet. But he has gone ahead and like slung a few text messages out saying, "Hey, lonely talk question mark to whoever he is in his contact list that wants to go ahead and meet him with instructions there." Also, another avenue to walk into the scene. And again, for Isaac Park, he has a small cooler there. He is currently open, and inside are a few long neck beers, one of which he is currently nursing, staring at the fire pit that is mostly filled with, well, nothing but leaves, old autumn leaves.
Um, Georgie is the first to show up. She kind of holds up her phone. She spots Isaac. Says, "I got your message. What are you doing here?"
Isaac goes ahead and says, "Nothing. Just wanted to talk."
Nothing sounds good, and she'll sit down.
There is that long and awkward pause between them. These two characters, not very sociable, and there seems to be something missing between them. Isaac just goes ahead and says, "So you ran the circus? Is that good?"
What's the circus?
You ran to you ran away to the circus.
Oh, Well, sort of. Yeah. It was good while it lasted. And then it turned out to be not good. And so here we are.
Cool. Would you want to go back?
I don't know. It's not. It wasn't real, but that didn't make it real. That did not make it real. You see, you get what I'm saying? Like, I was forced there. They changed me to fit me in there, or he did. But the people that were there, they're like the feelings I have towards those people aren't changed.
Isaac goes ahead and nods. None of us are really responsible for the places that we are right now. There are other forces, otherworldly or simply bigger than ours, that have a hand in placing us where we are. I'm not going to say that we're all pawns on this stage. We're just all dust in the wind, scattered. And he goes ahead and turns towards Georgie. If you find like belonging amongst the ash, who can go ahead and try to uproot you from that?
I guess all I can say is that the universe has a strong sense of sarcasm, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll set them free somehow, and yeah, we'll see what happens after that.
No doubt. Still, it's good to have you back.
I guess it's good to be back.
At about that time, a bike will come from the road, stop, and yes, familiar to the well, kind of familiar. While still new there, and he saw his face once. Well, when the figure takes off the helmet, they do recognize the face, and he'll come towards them. So, when you're not glooming in a bar, you're hanging out in a graveyard.
Isaac just goes ahead and like nods or shrugs his shoulders nonchalantly. You're the one looking for figures that are all gloomy and grim.
He'll raise an eyebrow. I mean, I didn't. I didn't look specific. I'm not specifically looking for anyone grim. Kind of
And
was kind of hoping to see smiles. Apparently that's not a thing around here.
At
nope.
that point, there's a voice that comes up, seemingly from one of the far ends from underneath a tree of the graveyard. You know, if you came for a place of smiles, a graveyard was a pretty piss poor place to start your search.
I mean, I was invited here. And
I
he'll look.
mean,
Hey, me too.
skeletons, skulls have a way that seems to be smiling.
Always smiling.
There you go.
Depends on the skeleton itself.
So that's Georgie. That's Isaac, but I haven't met you before. Oh, I'm Jasper, by the way.
Well, hello, Jasper, by the way.
You just hold the bridge of his nose. And you are.
Oh, I could give you so many names that people have called me. Hey, you over there. Hey, Firecrotch. Hey, get out of the street. But I generally go with Hannah.
I think I'll go with Hannah. Seems to be the easiest one to remember out of everything you gave me.
At that point, a well-known figure to at least a good amount of the mages assembled. Damien walks up. He's in his usual denims, has got his trusty leather satchel with him, and he seems to be smoking a self-turned cigarette. Passes by, sees you guys, makes a double take, and walks towards you.
Oh, look, it's Wolfie.
Ah, Hannah, how are you doing?
Well, aside from suffering from this goddamn heat, and wondering what these three strange individuals are doing, I'm doing all right.
Huh, the people I bump into.
You know these characters here?
Yes, let's see. There's Georgie Westbrook, Isaac Blanche, if I remember correctly, and Jasper O'Bannon.
That's right.
So, what are you guys up to?
I just going to go ahead and hold up a finger for a hot second as a cold, chilly breeze blows through this non-structure, non-shelter to the wilderness, an uncharacteristically chill breeze. He goes ahead and dons his sunglasses at night, and goes ahead and retrieves from this small little cooler, not a long neck, but a flask. He puts the flask in his hoodie pocket and does not pay any no mind as he walks to a particularly slanted grave. Again, the chill goes ahead and picks up, not around the congregation, but around Isaac himself. He takes the flask out, unscrews it, pour the contents of which onto the ground in front of the grave. The smell of strong, strong alcohol goes ahead and fills the air for the hot second. There are very, very few and brief mumble words from Isaac's lips. He goes ahead and screws back the flask, puts it back into his pocket, and returns to the group.
Drinking with the dead?
They have their taste.
Apparently they like it strong.
Gonna have Hannah. She lights a cigarette and lets the smoke sort of build before letting it out, so it flows up past her eyes. Then once it's clear, she activates Spirit Sight. What does it look like around Isaac?
All right. You go ahead and cast your ethereal sight across the shroud. You can go ahead and see that, around Isaac, there is a bit of that misty, foggy apparition that goes ahead and solidifies every so often to an aged man, just hurriedly whispering into his ear, like, "Can you get me this? Can you get me that? Can you get me this? Can you get me that? It's so cold. It's so cold. It's so cold. I need a drink. I need a drink. It's so cold. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." And wisping away as Isaac returns to the group. And as of now, you can definitely see that fog and that haze still around Isaac, but they seem to be keeping their distance, as if these are all just like spirits and say that desperately just want to be heard, just want to be like known to exist, but fearing, well, Isaac, for all intents and purposes, maybe out of respect or maybe out of fear.
Just gonna cock her head a bit, take a long drag off the cigarette before blowing it out, and kind of cock a brow at Isaac. You seem to have a certain degree of I want to say respect, but they seem to have a healthy fear of you around here.
Isaac goes ahead and shrugs. They are what they are.
So hooking them up with their earthly vices is what you do to serve them?
He goes ahead and scratches his chin. I mean, just people or things that just want what they want. And sometimes they just demand things a little bit too readily. And I have to go ahead and keep them at a distance. At which point Isaac is fishing out of his shirt a necklace with some kind of alchemical symbol on it. At which point the spirits, their eyes go like directly to that thing and murmur amongst themselves.
Damien goes ahead, grabs out what looks to be a disc-like object, once again made of bronze, with nice decorations on the back. If somebody wants to check out what the symbol is, they'll have to do a roll. But puts it out, swipes the mirror part right in front of his eyes, and activates his spirit sight. And puts the mirror back.
Georgie lights up a cigarette.
Georgie
Damien-
lights up a cigarette.
And only lights up a cigarette.
That.
Yes. Damon will see the description as laid before.
And Damien is smoking his cigarette that he seems to have made himself, if anybody's in the vicinity and wants to take a whiff. There's something a bit slightly acidy about the smell. So he takes a few drags of this questionable cigarette.
Didn't you say you were stopping?
Oh, this isn't a cigarette. This isn't nicotine.
Isn't it still bad?
Marijuana has its uses.
Oh, marijuana. Okay, that's...
What the old Scythians used to help their minds along.
Yeah, I'll have some of that then.
And Damien offers him the doobie.
And he's like takes a few drags.
So, I just, and Hannah's going to take a few steps forward and kind of step between Georgie and Isaac. She kind of like mumbles to herself. She points to Georgie, then herself, then to Isaac, and then to Jasper. G-H-I-J. If only we had a Kelly to bookend on the end here, we'd be right in a line.
Sure.
What, am I the only one that didn't notice that?
You're the only one that noticed that, unfortunately.
Y'all need to live a little.
Some of us are not alive.
And what the hell is that supposed to mean?
When you're in the graveyard, some people are dead here.
Well,
No,
yeah, I
it's-
thought we were talking about the assembled.
Seems like some of us have one foot in the grave. And she'll kind of look Isaac up and down.
Yep. He is particularly emotionless and without affect. That might just be his personality, or it might be something more. But if you have like if you have entropy sight up, of course, he's not dead in a medical sense.
I'll go ahead and put my entropy and
Yeah.
prime up just to see what we get here.
Jasper will do the
Same
same.
thing at the mention of it. Definitely put up the entropy side.
Entropy and yeah. Man.
Georgie smokes a cigarette.
This is why we love you.
And prime tree.
I'm not going to ask you guys to go ahead and roll it. These are very, very simple sites. Entropy and prime. Well, this is definitely a graveyard. You definitely go ahead and see those entropic residences everywhere around, and it seems like Isaac here has been accustomed to this place. You can definitely tell because his residences closely mirror the residents of the entire graveyard and the spirits and shades themselves. So he might just be a practiced necromancer, or he could be dead. Who knows? You know, you're mages. He's just a good necromancer.
Any further insight for a
Entropy.
Chakravanti?
Shakavante. Okay. For the people of the wheel, shrug. Stuck is a word that comes to mind.
So yeah, Hannah will cross her arms and look at Isaac. We should talk later.
Okay. About what?
Whatever it is, this situation you got going on here. Didn't mean to actually spy you out per se, but getting a feeling of the local entropic energies around here. You have a very interesting, I don't know, what would you call it? A conundrum or situation?
He goes ahead and shrugs. It is what it is, what it is. If you really want to talk, cool, awesome. Here's my number. He goes ahead and just simply gives you his phone for the hot second to exchange information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'll make the exchange. You know, I know a place. It's not exactly the Green Dragon, but it's a nice place. And I happen to have inroads that could get us a private booth, and we could sit inside in the air conditioning with beverages supplied, food for those of you that partake.
Sounds very inviting. Where's the catch?
I mean, there's not really a catch. I'm not some Faustian deal maker out here. I'm asking you all if you would prefer to be indoors instead of outdoors out in this summer heat, because I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel the sweat soak through my shirt, and I'm not very fond of it.
Sorry, just double checking. Please don't take it personally.
We've had a lot of otherworldly entities go ahead and offer us things that are sometimes a little bit too much to go ahead and pay for.
Well, if I want you to pay for something, I will be more than forthcoming when it comes to a price, because I enjoy the art of a deal. But I'm not that kind of will work, if you catch my meaning. Leave the Faustian shit up to the Hermetics, I say.
Yeah. Leave it up to the Hermetics. Yep. Isaac's eyes go ahead and get all far off and cast off to the other side of the graveyard for a half second.
I mean, if it's up to the Hermetics, we leave everything up to the Hermetics, and the world will be a better place for it.
I say we let them shoulder that burden for all the 30 seconds that it would take them to realize they have made a huge mistake.
Sounds fun.
But seriously, I need a drink. I need something to eat. And considering that all four of you are part of a craft of some kind, whether it be independent or aligned, officially, I'd like to get to know, well, three of you. I already know one of you.
We can make introductions right here, and if you're wanting for a drink, he just goes ahead and idly kicks over, not kicks over, but kicks the cooler by his side.
All right, let's see what you got in there. And she'll take
Hey.
her
Go ahead.
she'll take her suit jacket off and fold it and put it over one of the headstones, and roll up the sleeves of her red blouse.
Inside are it's very, very plain domestic, very, very cheap domestic actually.
You know, this is almost criminal what you're doing to me here. And she'll hold out her hand for one.
And goes ahead and hands you one. My name is Yeah. Go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
I have talked a lot. You get the chance.
I mean, all I was going to say was Georgie's just going to shoot a longing look at the beer. Doesn't say anything, though.
After good old Hannah gets one, of course Georgie's going to be hand one as well.
She'll decline and says, I've had my share of apple juice.
I did not realize the curse affected you when it touched your lips.
The what now? What's up with her?
I'll let Georgie go ahead and explain her situation if she wants to.
Georgie will explain it with one word. Hermetics.
Does Georgie have a geas on her?
Mm-hmm.
So she lights up like a Christmas tree under entropy sight, doesn't she?
Probably.
Yeah, Damien takes what's ever left of the doobie back, looks at Georgie and offers her it.
She'll look at it for a moment and then shrugs and is like, sure, why not?
Hey, they never said that they cursed you not to be able to smoke weed.
Just the drinks.
They cursed her not to drink. Assholes. And he just takes a beer.
You know, there are other ways to get your crunk on without having to actually imbibe it.
I mean, I'm sure there's enough ways. It doesn't mean I just want to have my beer.
I get you. Probably for the best then, because the way that I was going to suggest either required a medical device or gloves and some KY jelly. She kind of chuckles at you half-heartedly.
Georgie's not laughing back.
She's funny, Isaac says, flatly.
Apparently.
You know, and here I was worried about it being kind of dour here at the graveyard. Silly me.
Inside all of us is a smiling skeleton.
Quite true.
I mean, it's happier than when I walked into the Green Dragon the other night.
Yeah, you really caught us at a bad time.
You know, I feel like every time somebody walks into the Green Dragon, just something happens.
I would say 9 out of 10 times that's the case.
A little bit weird, a lot of unsettling, but I guess it is what it is. And she'll pull her bag over onto her lap as she finds a bench to sit down amongst the group and starts to go through it.
So where you hail from?
Me?
Yeah.
Homegrown in Brooklyn, New York.
Goes the head nuts. Gotcha. American, of course.
Unfortunately,
What else would you find in Ireland?
I'd imagine
I
there are
just
one or two Irishmen.
I assume it has something to do with just general demographics going ahead and shifting in that, well, there's been that ceasefire with the techies, and people have just got to go ahead and move where they're just going to be more comfortable.
Well, it's not so much about a ceasefire or anything of that nature. I'm more here on business, on both ends, actually. Both on the mundane and the more ethereal type.
Goes ahead and nods. I'm stranded here.
Your situation have anything to do with that?
It's a little bit of half a half.
Hmm.
Not really a citizen here, nowhere to go but a dead end job.
You want to work for someone that can pay you halfway decently?
He goes ahead and shakes his head. I do not even come up on most payrolls.
I wasn't asking you to get a job that wasn't under the table. She says as she smirks and pulls out a looks to be like a little silver case. When she opens it up, it has some rolled joints in it. They're dyed blue.
I will go ahead and eye it. Actually, go ahead and reach out to take one if offered.
Damien will eye one of them and politely ask, "What's the mixture like?"
Well,
If I may ask.
I'm fairly proud of this one. And she'll hand one to Isaac, and then one over to Damien.
Thank you. And he takes
However,
it.
I would recommend being judicious on when and where you smoke it.
Here and now seems good.
I mean, don't say I didn't warn you. But this one is called Blue Moon. And it is a lovely little concoction that I put together. Hard as hell to actually get the mixture just right, because one side over the other, they're both pretty good, but you gotta find that balance to find the optimal sensation that you want to get. She'll hit Georgie. Miss Westbrook.
Yeah. Just Georgie.
Ah,
Westbrook.
well
Miss
then-
Westbrook is my mom.
Well then, Georgie, would you like to try some of this Blue Moon?
What's the worst that could happen? Sure.
Damien chuckles at that.
From what I've heard around here, that's not something you should say.
She'll look at Jasper.
Yeah, Georgie's giving a deadpan look at Jasper, like, really, bro.
He'll just take and ignores Georgie.
Just take the fucking joint.
He takes it on it.
And she'll pull out a a Zippo lighter. She'll strike it. And let's see if she doesn't burn everybody's face off.
We would prefer that.
Yeah, I'm sure we all would. Nice. So when she flicks the lighter, all 4 joints light up at the end.
Isaac, for his
And-
part, just going to go ahead and take a few experimental breaths in. Go ahead and look at this waxing gibbous. Go ahead and breathe out into the air above the not lit fire pit.
Everybody should make not constitution checks. Jesus, stamina rolls.
Just stamina rolls, right?
Yeah.
Let me check.
The thing is, the drugs work no matter what. It's just how well you handled the high.
Well, my. Oh! I was gonna
What?
say, my luck with dice rolls, but wow!
Isaac's going to have a very nice time today.
Especially when I tell you what's in
Really
this shit.
seem to care.
So I'm going with standard diff.
Oh!
Oh.
Wow! So Georgie really is the only one who's like, man.
So Georgie, you feel kind of like this, a slight. It's definitely, I would say, tempered with you because you succeeded, but it's a feel of like relaxation, euphoria, and your skin tingles very delightfully at just any passing touch.
Mm-hmm. I just out of character, real quick. I remember the last time you and I were in a drug scene, Vinny.
As that is happening, Damien lights the joint, and he cups his hand in a way to create a small bong. And in good old Shiva style, he takes some 3 pretty hefty breaths in. As it starts working, his eyes are just properly red at that point. And he's got a bit of a detached look in his eyes as he slowly looks at the moon and puts his hands in a triangle, and the moon is in between it.
Yeah, Jasper, you just want to touch everything. Everything feels amazing. And Isaac and Jason, you guys are like,
This moon is really awesome. I am one with the moon.
congratulations. Each one of you have enjoyed it or have a joint that is laced with both ketamine and ecstasy.
I thought I recognized something, he says, quite matter-of-factly.
I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy that moon and keep that blunt a hot bit away from him. Because good old Hannah was not joking about that.
Mm-hmm. She'll kind of crouch beside Isaac, and she's just going to blow on his forehead.
Goes ahead and tries to waft it away. Woof, woof, you got me, you got me. Woof.
Jasper will start brushing Damien's hair, going, "Your hair is soft."
Thank you. I take good care of it.
By the way, Damien, that shit feels amazing.
He'll simply go like, ha, ayahuasca, eat your heart out.
And Hannah will sit down next to Georgie, just kind of like with a smirk to herself. I consider myself a public servant sometimes. This is
Yep,
why I do
they
it.
all seem extremely happy with you.
So what's your deal? I heard him talking about something with the circus.
Oh, you heard that.
Yeah. Some
I ran
people were,
away to join the circus.
yeah. Some representative from that showed up not too long ago while I was at the Dragon with, what's her name? The other Fabena, Cassidy, and Damien
How
over
long
there.
ago?
At the mention of Cassidy, Damien tries to free himself from Jasper's grip and walks over. Yeah? What about her?
No, I was just talking about the shitbag that showed up at the Dragon when we first met. And I'm guessing they were talking about Georgie here.
She was gone at that point, yes.
But you seem a little down. Not really
No,
my
not particularly.
place to notice, but you know, if you are looking for someone to help out, I am not one to turn down an individual in need.
I'm not much downer than I used to be, or much less of an upper. I am just me.
Oh, well, apologies for mistaking that then.
That's okay.
But
Yeah.
either way, it is nice to make your acquaintance, and she'll offer out a hand to Georgie.
Yeah, Georgie will shake the hands and looks at the three others, shakes her head.
You know, this reminds me. Back when I was at home at Columbia, bunch of frat boys scattered around on the floor, just completely unsure what to do with themselves.
Isn't that the usual state of most of humanity?
I would say 90% of the time, yeah. I mean, hell, even us to have craft, or the ability to craft, we still kind of, most of the time, are just kind of firing blanks off into the dark, wondering exactly where we're supposed to go.
Yeah, well, I guess we all just do what we think is best, and sometimes we end up on the floor.
Isaac, for his part, is definitely on the ground and has a bit of the stonework as his makeshift pillow staring out into the night sky.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
will
sorry.
lie on the ground. Sorry, go ahead.
Damien just adds to that, well, I've currently hit a bit of a glass ceiling that I can't break. But if I manage to do it within time, I just might be able to cut some strings, free you loose, and give you back your agency as far as consumption of certain liquids are concerned.
Yeah, Jasper will lie on the grass as he touches it, going, "This grass is amazing."
You know, that might be something I can help you with there, Georgie. Entropy happens to be my specialty.
Oh, you too.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit away from mastery myself.
He gives her a respectful nod.
I mean, what's your price?
I mean, that would really kind of come down to what it actually cost me to undo it, let's say. But I'm a individual who's all about fair market value. If nothing
Sorry.
else, if I do a favor of a certain magnitude, I would hope that you would feel uh, you would find it in your heart to return the favor at some point of an equal
Huh, a boon
magnitude.
system.
I
I
mean, if that's
suppose
what you call it.
something could be arranged. Just not quite sure how useful my services would be, but I wouldn't do anything to betray, well, those that I'm loyal to. But other than that, yeah,
Who are you loyal to?
the Akashic Brotherhood and my cabal.
Ah. Uh, the Akashics are have a bit of a sordid past with the Thanatoid, but as far as I'm concerned, past is the past. You know, for Cabal mates though, prices are, and she kind of points up to the sky and then kind of traces the moon with her finger. Much more on the house.
You're looking to join a cabal then?
Well, considering the way that supernatural figures and mythological beings just kind of pop up around here, yes. Short answer, yes. Long answer, fuck yes.
Your
Damien
decisions,
relights
are
his
they
joint.
usually well thought over, or would you say that you make a lot of questionable decisions?
I make decisions based on the best information at hand. If they're not pressing, I put them to bed and let them simmer for a bit until I have a little bit more of a understanding of what I'm dealing with. However,
Georgie, I'm sorry, go on. Yeah.
however, given everything that every single person has consistently told me about Dublin, I would call this decision a very educated one.
Georgie will nod and she'll kind of, uh, poke Isaac with her foot.
I
Isaac,
just go ahead. Yeah, he goes and grumbles. He'll.
apparently this person here wants to join a cabal.
Oh dear. Isaac, for his part, is going to go ahead and shake him out of a little bit of a stupor. His eyes are still fairly dilated due to the night sky and the substances in his system. He stands up and he goes ahead and regards Hannah for a hot second, simply goes ahead and says, "Can you bake?"
Believe it or not, I can. And if I don't do a good enough job, I have people that can do it for me. And normally the stuff that I add to any confection, she'll kind of like tap the top of her silver case, make life a little bit less terrible.
Isaac goes ahead and shakes his head. No, 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 that's not how this works. Homemade baked cookies.
What do you like? You're more of a macaroons or chocolate chip? I can do snickerdoodles, but nobody seems to like
If
sniffing
you're
the
ever weird.
Exit goes ahead and
And
says, just chocolate chip cookies.
easy enough to do.
Pfizer goes ahead and shrugs, goes ahead and looks at Georgie. I mean, we've been looking for another.
True.
And it
I don't
seems like
think it will ever replace her cookies, though.
No, but we gotta have tradition, right?
This is fair.
puff, puff.
All right, Hannah, this is what I want from you. Baked, homemade chocolate chip cookies. And you're good with me.
all right, can do.
If you're good with him, you're good with me.
Well, as it seems like both of you could benefit from my involvement in your lives in some degree, I'm happy to be brought aboard.
Hooray, we have rituals. We don't have rituals. We brought into the inner circle. We have no inner circles. You'll be enlightened to a great light. We have
No light.
a buzzing like fly trap out there that you can stare at, but I wouldn't advise it. Just so long as you make more questionable decisions like the one tonight.
That.
She kind of smirks and shrugs, and just kind of walks over and starts gently rubbing Isaac's shoulder to just kind of give him the full extent of the ecstasy in the joint that he inhaled.
This is not right. He goes ahead and mumbles to himself. He'll bring out his wrist up. Go ahead and do some mind magic jumbo wumbo to go ahead and regain his like dead end senses. Spin a willpower point. It's enough at least to go ahead and regain his senses, but he won't go ahead and like jerk you off his shoulders.
She'll pat his shoulders once he's done with the spell, and then pull her hands away.
Georgie just continues smoking. I mean, it still tastes nice, if anything.
Damien is finishing off the J and seems to be scribbling something on his forearm with a perma marker. Looks like some sort of combination rune. And as he finishes it and lets a nice ring out of smoke, he simply goes like, there we go. Control regained. But thank you for the lovely trip.
I do what I can.
I don't understand why you seem so keen on regaining control.
Well, with the powers that we've been gifted with, losing control can end very badly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you
Maybe
don't
knows
remember the
exactly what she's
explosion.
talking about.
It wasn't good. Rage overtook me. That could have gone very badly for everyone.
She's right.
No, it was fine. As a man who was at the epicenter, it was fine.
I would like to believe that, but it doesn't feel that way.
Not even sure if Georgie is still wounded. I think she is. Lol.
How
Lol.
wounded is she?
I honestly don't know. A couple of lethal. 4 max.
Give me just a second here. This is something I can help with.
So you can heal too.
Man.
If
Desperately needed. Desperately needed.
Wait, who needs healing the most?
Good question. Anyone
How
else?
many is Isaac sitting on?
Isaac is not sitting on anything. I'm just saying we desperately need a good healer. We have very few of them that aren't old faithers.
Oh
Okay,
well, I
so-
technically count as one, but
all right, hold on. I'm gonna spend.
No,
2
wait. I
points.
think. Give me a moment because I wasn't sitting on lethal because I could soak lethal. I was sitting on ag.
Okay, so I gotta add. I gotta spend 2 points of quintessence to lower down the difficulty down to an acceptable level.
I think I was on two ag. Let's keep it at that. I think that was correct.
So yeah, then I gotta put 2
Problem is
more.
I can't check the scene because it doesn't have any sound.
God damn it.
So I was planning to actually look up how much damage did I take. I
Okay.
can't.
So,
When she's healed in the scene at the Green Dragon there.
No, I don't believe that she was still in the Green Dragon.
Okay.
oh no!
See,
She tries
questionable
to.
decisions begin.
She kind of like. She takes the smoke from her, or she doesn't take her smoke. She pulls out a little bottle. It looks like a little, a little flask that not Mad Eye Moody had in the Goblet of Fire.
Hmm.
Kind of similar carved to that, and she takes a sip of it, and then she sort of sprays it out over her hands, and she then kind of puts a hand on Georgie's shoulder. Tries and doesn't get anything on the first attempt, so she'll try it again. But gets it on the second, and uses entropy to heal your wounds. So she, who has spirit sight up right now?
Me.
I think everyone but Georgie.
I don't either.
I have my sunglasses on at night. At night? At night.
You almost see like the image of a tall, dark, shadowy figure standing over Hannah, and it's accented with a big top hat. Towers over her by about it. Like the total figure is about 13 feet or so.
By the way, if you, because this is my first mage, if you have avatar for people with spirit sight, does your avatar show all the time?
It requires spirit, prime, and mind, I think, to be able to see someone's avatar.
Okay.
But yeah, she heals your wounds, Georgie.
Georgie just, takes in a breath and hey, it doesn't hurt to breathe anymore. Wow.
Let me go ahead and smoke another cigarette.
Oh yeah. How you get her?
You did the good.
That was
She'll
very interesting.
She'll shake her hands out. Jesus. That one cost me a little bit.
Thanks.
No problem.
So at this point, there's a little bit of a buzz, a little bit of a ring from Isaac's phone. It is not an incoming call. It is just an alarm, a timer that has gone ahead and gone off because he hadn't punched his clothes, put it back into his pocket. And yeah, that ghostly residence is starting to go ahead and just simply lift and evaporate into the air like a dissipating fog. The witching hour is over. Isaac says just flatly.
That would explain it.
You motherfucker, you timed that out of character for an hour exactly, didn't you?
Maybe.
Genius.
Isaac, for his part, is going to go ahead and walk over to his cooler, go ahead and replace things that were once inside it back into it, making sure that the long neck bottles are clearly disposed away of, as well as any cigarette butts, because this is a place that he wants to come back to and leave like as nice as he found it.
Damien actually puts the two doobie stumps into some form of Tupperware, where he obviously keeps his butts, so he's not dirtying the place up.
And Jasper gets up. Kind of cleans around him.
You okay, mate?
Yeah, I'll be fine. And he kind of rubs his temple.
Nice.
Don't go crazy with the alcohol tonight until after you've slept that off.
Sorry, RC, I didn't get what you said.
Don't hit the booze too hard until you've slept that off.
I was just gonna go home.
Yeah, don't cross the beams.
Streams, don't cross that. He goes ahead and like waves a hand in your general direction. Europeans
Okay,
don't
don't
know,
cross the
gosh darn
streams.
American, gosh darn cinema, Ghostbusters, gosh darn nuclear waste, gosh darn AC. Slowly but steadily walking out of the scene in the graveyard.
Whatever.
Calling back, Hannah, you're free to come with me or her. Don't care. I'm going to work.
You're not coming with me, I'm going home.
Well, believe it or not, the night is still young, and I have work to do. So, Georgie, if you
Yeah.
want to come with,
Why, you need someone to punch things?
I hadn't considered that, but that is certainly something that would be useful in certain situations. If you can sit there and look intimidating.
Georgie's gonna look down at herself, the dirty pair of jeans because of, has like the green spots sitting on the grass, and the t-shirt that she's wearing. I'm not quite sure if I'm the most intimidating, but
Hannah will take her sport jacket and then just kind of drape it over Georgie's shoulders.
makes all the difference.
Listen, you're wearing stained jeans with a t-shirt and a sports jacket. People are not going to fuck with you.
Damien just grins.
Georgie shrugs, but she's like, "Sure, I'll come along."
Take care of yourself there, Wolfie.
If you only knew.
Yeah.
All right, then. Are we all good with that for a good little outro?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then.
Yep.
Then until we go ahead and meet again, the fog goes ahead and starts to just lift. Morning is a long bit away, but the eeriest part of the night has gone ahead and passed over. No longer do the ghouls or the ghosts, ghastly apparitions go ahead and haunt these nights. Now other more, well, physical dangers go ahead and lurk and peer. But that's all for another night. We thank you, watchers, for watching. We thank you, players, for playing. See you all next time.